Welcome back, and I'm glad to have you with me. My name is Dr. Utibe Akar. This is building materials, and we'll be looking at the introductory part of building materials and their classification. In this module, you are going to learn at the end of the course how to define building materials and understand their importance in construction. Secondly, you'll be able to identify the primary categories of building materials. Then, thirdly, describe the historical evolution of building materials and as well provide examples of traditional and modern building materials. In this module, I want you to take up your pen and paper and write this down so that you'll be able to get a note for yourself for future revision. Now, by definition, building materials refers to any materials used for construction purposes. This actually includes structural materials, finishing materials, and material for installation. Example of these materials ranges from stone, concrete, steel, timber, and glass. What are the importance of these materials in construction? You have to take this down. It provides structural integrity. It enhances aesthetics appeal or aesthetical appeal. It contributes to environmental sustainability, and it influences cost and construction speed. Let me take it for you to really understand. When we talk about structural integrity, the material that you use to do a particular construction definitely will determine how strong that building will be. Imagine having a wooden building. It means that there are certain impacts that building will not be able to resist compared to having a concrete building. We normally hear people say those who live in glass house don't throw stones. So imagine having a glass house and the glass is not a glass that offers a high level resistance. So something like a granite or something, could give a negative impact on the building's structural integrity. So these materials ranges from those aspects. As I said, I repeat it again, we have the structural integrity, we have aesthetic appeal. You know how beautiful different materials can give a feel. When you're using glass, the feel for glass is different from the feel that you get when you're using hard-wearing material. And when we're talking about environmental sustainability, where are you getting those materials from? Are they materials that are sourced locally? Are they materials that you're getting from afar? Are they materials that will cause impact of carbon emission into the space? The production of such materials, is it causing negative impact to the environment? And as well, you know that these materials vary in cost. So your choice also determines the cost implication of it. Historical background to materials generally, you will find that in ancient times, materials were used from naturally available sources like stone, clay, and timber. This you can find it in the Egyptian pyramids, which were built with limestone and granite. Looking at the medieval era, you see things like brick beginning to emerge, then mortar to put the brick together. Then we look at an example in Gothic architecture, which stone was extensively used, and these stones were put together by some form of mortar to consolidate them together. Then we now have the era of industrial revolution. What really happened in this era, rather, was the introduction of steel. Yes, we used to call it the international style, So you had steel and concrete, which revolutionized the construction industry. You find that mostly in Northern Europe and the Americas during the Industrial Revolution. And we also have mass production of bricks and other prefabricated components. That was the era of industrialization. Now, modern era has something to offer. And what is that? The development of high performance materials such as composite materials, polymers, and smart materials. When we talk about composite materials, it means putting two or three components of different materials together to form a particular material. Some of us have heard about things called polystyrene materials. Those are made from polymer. We also have smart materials, materials which use of technology to, evolve them from different forms. And it comprises of stone, steel. Classification of building materials is categorized based on origin, based on composition, and based on construction. Now, construction, we look at structural material, finishing material, and specialty material. Under structural, you look at materials that contribute to load bearing and reinforcement work. Example of it is concrete and steel. You can agree with me that when you use concrete to do a suspended floor, it can carry load. When you use concrete to do bridges and you reinforce it with steel, heavy duty trucks can move over such a bridge without it being collapsed. But it might not be the case when you are using material like glass or timber. The next aspect of it is finishing materials. Hence, aesthetics. For instance, paint is a material. Does it shock you? Yes, the pigment, that material is for aesthetic purpose. We have another one that wallpaper, for instance, it is also a material and it's for finishing. Does it have structural capabilities? No, it doesn't. All right. Then you also have plaster. When you are doing drywall, that could be that's also a material, like what we use for drywall and even cladding. That's also material. And the mortar that we use for plastering, it's also material. Then we use it for specialty materials. This serves specific purposes like insulation and waterproofing. Yes, we have something called the dam-proof membrane. It's a membrane that stops capillary action from the floor, mass concrete floor slab, and that membrane is a material. And in some cases, you also see such materials being used at roof level to stop water that percolates from when you're having roofs that are in small shingles or small cassettes, small units. You use such material to waterproof it. Then for insulation materials, you have something like foam, we have wool and all those things, so that sound will not move from one space to the other. All right. The examples of building materials, and I want you to take note of this. That building materials, we have the traditional building materials, and we also have the modern building materials. Under traditional building materials, stone is considered as traditional, and it is durable and has aesthetic, but it is heavy. Stone is durable, aesthetic, but it has high density. Timber is renewable and versatile, but it's prone to decay. Why is timber renewable? It's renewable because you can plant a tree and the tree will grow, and you cut another tree and keep replacing that timber when it decays. So you see how it's renewable. So it is advisable When you cut a tree, you must plant at least 2, 3, 4 other trees so that you will continue to have trees that you will use to replace the material when it decays. And we have modern materials. For modern materials, we have steel and glass. Steel is strong, ductile, and it is used for high-rise structures. Steel is what? Strong. Ductile. What does it mean for it to be ductile? You can bend it, and it is used in high-rise structures, skyscrapers. While glass is aesthetically pleasing and it's functional and is used for facades and interiors. So it means you can use it for external treatments and you can also use it within interior spaces, maybe for partitioning to give it some lightness rather than concealing the space. What is the relevance of materials to architecture, if I may ask? Material selection influences their structural safety, aesthetics, and sustainability. Therefore, architects must understand material properties to make informed design decision. You cannot, for any reason, being trained as an architect and you are not able to give an informed decision or take informed decision when it comes to the kind of material that should be used in a particular place. So that is the essence why you should understand the doings of this course and follow it through and get to understand how it goes. So I want to advise you, so like and share this with those who you think need the information, and as well watch out for module 2. Thank you.